Traditional cushioning systems are designed for a mid-sized person, then sometimes scaled to fit larger and smaller runners. They are also tuned for runners looking for a performance ride compared to a cushion ride, but not both. Performance tuning is typically stiffer so that a faster runner achieves better efficiency at high loading forces. But these systems do not work as well for runners who differ from the mean. Larger and faster runners get shoes that are too mushy, while smaller and slower runners get shoes that are too stiff. Would you put these diverse runners in the same cushioning system? Wouldn't it be wonderful if a cushioning system could automatically adapt to each runner's individual weight, gait, and running speed? Well, look no further. Introducing Brooks DNA, the first smart cushioning technology that adapts to each individual runner's biomechanical needs. This innovative system instantaneously adjusts to provide the perfect balance between cushioning and stability for each foot strike. Man or woman, fast or slow, small or large, Brooks DNA truly offers a perfect ride for every stride. But don't believe me, let's talk to a guy in a lab coat.
Thanks, Headcam Guy. We here at Brooks Sports have been working for the last 3 years to develop an innovative new cushioning system called Brooks DNA. Brooks DNA is actually a highly viscous non-Newtonian fluid that's been engineered at the molecular level to work like millions of miniature nanosprings. Because the chemical formulation was developed to work in concert with the Biomogo midsole materials, Brooks DNA actually provides adaptable cushioning along with enhanced energy return. But before I go on, let me explain to you what non-Newtonian means. A non-Newtonian liquid actually is a liquid that doesn't obey the normal laws of physics. It behaves in a way that might surprise you. Let me demonstrate with an extreme example of a non-Newtonian fluid, a mixture of cornstarch and water. Note how this material adapts to the different forces that are applied to it. When I touch it softly, it flows from my hand just like a liquid. But watch what happens when I hit it with a lot of force. But here's another example. This person can actually run on the liquid as it firms up upon impact. But with no force, they simply sink. This is an extreme example of a non-Newtonian liquid. But Brooks DNA also reacts in a similar way. Traditional Newtonian materials actually react poorly to changing conditions. The amount of energy absorbed or returned actually decreases the bigger you are or the harder you run. Brooks DNA is made up of a group of polymer strands or individual molecules linked up in chains. When they encounter small forces, they can actually move easily against each other. But look what happens when they apply abrupt force. What that means is, underneath the foot, Brooks DNA reacts instantaneously to adapt to the amount of force and adjust the cushioning accordingly. That results in a perfect ride for every stride. Besides being an unbelievably adaptive cushioning system, Brooks DNA also provides enhanced energy return, or more resiliency, more bounce. You need to get a good match between energy return and cushioning so that you have the best performance of the shoe. Examples would be low energy return and high cushioning, where you end up with a mushy shoe, while high energy return and low cushioning leaves it feeling jarring or harsh. This chart demonstrates how energy return is tested and how Brooks DNA performs. On the left axis, we have the increase in energy return, and on the bottom axis, we have the impact energy that's applied to the midsole. We're comparing up the Brooks DNA cushioning system with traditional cushioning systems. As the impact energy is increased, what we see in Brooks DNA is the amount of energy return increases, whereas with a traditional cushioning system, the amount of energy return stays the same. By the end of this test, it demonstrated a whopping 14-fold improvement over regular cushioning systems. Brooks DNA's reaction to changing forces yields improved performance both at low energy and high energy. This gives the runner soft comfort when they want it and firm support when they need it. Truly, the perfect ride for every stride.
Brooks DNA makes its first appearance in the Glycerin 8 hitting running shops in spring 2010. Brooks DNA, your personal cushioning system.